A decade removed from the Civil War, this road marks a secession movement that divided neighbors and whose final outcome would be decided by the highest court in the state. Jasper County was formed out of parts of Crawford and Clay County by the Illinois legislature on February 15, 1831 in Vandalia. The county was divided 4 years later in 1835 into 3 voting precincts: Claycomb, Newton, and Price. Name and boundary changes occurred frequently during the early years. By 1858, Jasper County had been divided into 12 voting precincts. After a decade of trying, following a large majority vote in the November 8, 1859 election, the county was organized into township governments. 9 townships were formed: Wade, Grove, Crooked Creek, Granville, Willow Hill, North Muddy, South Muddy, Smallwood, and Sainte Marie. Over the next decade, the boundaries remained firm. In December of 1867, a little more than 5 sections of the northern part of Sainte Marie Township were struck off to Willow Hill to equalize the burden of grading the bottom road. Sainte Marie Township had emerged from the township formation a rather large and unwieldy organization. It was not long before the citizens of the western part of the township found the size a matter of considerable inconvenience. In 1871, a petition was presented to the County Board of Supervisors by an attorney for the citizens of the western side of Sainte Marie Township asking for division of the township. This was met with vigorous protest, and the petition was eventually rejected. This effort was renewed 4 years later on January 15, 1875, a petition asking for the creation of the township to be called Union, or such other name as the board might see appropriate. This time the request was granted, and the county board authorized an election in the new township to choose officers. Quickly, a temporary injunction to prevent the election from taking place was filed by Sainte Marie Township and granted. During the circuit court spring term, a hearing was held on the matter. Sainte Marie Township argued that the new township should be formed only if a majority of the electors in the original township approved, all but assuring a quick end to the new township. The circuit court sided with Sainte Marie, and the injunction rendered perpetual. The residents of the western part of Sainte Marie Township, not discouraged by the circuit court's ruling, sought to appeal. At this time, the Supreme Court of Illinois heard appeals to the circuit court decisions directly. The fate of this Jasper County matter came before the Illinois Supreme Court a year later in June of 1876, in what would be one of the final cases the court would hear in the old state capitol building. The whole question before the justices in the case turned upon the language of the 26th section of the Township Organization Law. The section gives authority to the county board to create, change, divide, and enlarge townships to suit the residents of the county. The law also states that no incorporated town or village shall be divided except with the consent of a majority of the electors. But the true meaning of the language employed is not free from obscurity and doubt. In the opinion of the court, while the word town is sometimes used to designate a township, the term incorporated town is never used in that regard. The court interpreted that the intent was only to hold an election if an incorporated town was being divided. In the case of Sainte Marie Township, no election was required, and by order of the county board, this new township should be created. The justices cited many errors in the lower court's ruling. The power to hold an election is political and not judicial, thus the court had no jurisdiction to decree an injunction, and had the power existed, the decree rendered would be erroneous. The justices ruled the decree reversed. That December, 1876, the newly formed Fox Township, named for the creek that flows through the heart of the township, completed its organization and became one of the political divisions of Jasper County. Dr. Colmar Harris was elected supervisor in 1877, Stephen Lee Dickerson in 1878, Joseph F. Compton in 1879, and Anthony Litzelman in 1881. According to an 1880s description, Fox Township is about 7 3/4 miles north and south by 5 miles east and west, and is mostly beautiful prairie, except for a strip of timber on the Fox Creek that runs nearly through the township. For the most part, the land lays well, and is rich. The fierce legal battle that was fought over this township boundary is all but forgotten, but the Fox that emerged is still part of Jasper County today.